All right, my friends, welcome to episode 347 of Prof and Dev Play Games. My name is Larry, the professor at Prof Plays Games on Twitter. Over there's Anthony, the dev at Summer Speak. And so far this month, we have raised $180 or $181 for bodily autonomy charities
That's amazing.
funds. Yeah, so let's keep it up. All the downloads for our new episodes that are happening this month, starting with the Row episode at the very tail end of June. Donating $1 for every download, and so far we're about 181, 182.
I think we need to switch that. We're both donating $1, I think.
Hey, double.
So,
all right. We have doubled our impact.
I mean,
so
that fits right.
That is perfect. Yes, let's do it. So grab your mom's iPhone right now.
And just download all our back catalog. Just go.
Well, we're doing, not the back catalog, we're doing the episodes starting with the Row one. So all the ones, so basically the last 4 episodes. So download those and all your friends' episodes, or podcasts. Grab your moms, grab your grandmas.
Yeah.
Grab your 3 phones. So any of the episodes from Row on, $1 each for each of us. So we're doubling our impact, which is good. That's exciting because otherwise this week, not a lot of exciting stuff was happening.
No.
Not much news. So this week we're going to talk about things we've been playing. But before we get there, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. It's middle of summer. I did get Game Jam results back.
Oh, nice.
I did not win any Game Jam things. So there was, but the funny thing, there was 3 categories this time, like best, most popular, like people in the studio voted, and I was a judge on the other ones. I couldn't judge my own game, but those were more like out. I think one of them was out of the box, so like unique game to theme, and then one I can't remember what the other one was, but 2 like just a general 3 categories. Different games won each of the 3 categories, but then they showed who came in, who was the second game in each one. My game. Which is fine. I'm like, that makes sense. It's a word game. And that's kind of how word games fit into the gaming ecosystem overall. They're never the number 1 games, but they're everyone's second.
That does fit into the, I don't know if you saw this thing, like the first half of the year, the most tweeted games. Number 1 was Genshin. Number 2 was Wordle.
Yeah. Yep.
Interesting.
It's an interesting thing, but it was good. I had a good time finishing that up, and I made a fun game. You got to play the game, which was cool.
I did. I really liked it. I want more. I'm not sure how that fits into your company's vision for the future, but more.
How does the vision works into my vision a little bit? There's no reason I can't just, I don't know, tinker on it here and there.
Right.
I don't have the ability to make the art, unfortunately, but maybe I can convince the other 2 if they would do a little more here and there if they had time.
Right. Right.
Want to drop another character, drop some more enemies? Let's do it.
Oh my god.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I don't know, when it really comes down to it, I just made a game I wanted to play. So,
right.
No one else was going to make it, and I'm like, God, I've just wanted to play this thing for years. So, I got to make it. It's a good excuse.
The worst part about it is that it ended. I was like, "Oh, that's it."
Yeah, that's it.
One more. Well, that's good. That's a good.
Yeah.
Glad you came in second.
Oh my, it was fun. Yeah, second across the board. That was the crazy thing.
Yeah.
So, that was fun, and then the week is just getting ready for my summer road trip. Getting excited to take my kids to Ashland and see the first. Oh
my god!
Like first stage Shakespeare. That's going to be fun.
Jealous. Fucking hell. I love Ashland.
So do I. My wife is very much not, and she enjoys it. She's gone, I think, once. I've went with her down there.
She's only been once?
Yeah. I mean,
wow.
In college, we never went in college. I went twice in college myself.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we went in high school.
Yeah.
That's when I went a fair amount number of times. And then post college and like moving to Memphis, back to Seattle. And after that, probably sometime in early 2010, we went down there and we saw Hamlet and Pride and Prejudice. And that was the last time we went, because then we had kids. Oh.
Yep, that's that derails most things.
It did. But now the kids are old enough, and we're like, haha. And be honest, it's more me like going, ha ha. Hopefully you enjoy this, because we're probably going to do this a couple times.
And if you don't, too bad. We're doing it anyways.
I'm doing it. I would be okay doing this like once a year just to go down there and see something. So, I don't know. It's fun to see live play, and it's fun to see Shakespeare overall. Like,
yeah, dude. I took my wife there twice, and obviously went a couple times in high school, once in college. But the Globe, the open, it's called the Globe Theater down here. It's not the Globe, obviously. But for my birthday, I circled the Shakespeare plays, and I was like, yes, once everyone's vaccinated, this is what we're doing. It's outdoors.
Yep.
So we're going next month. So my first live play in years now at this point.
Nice.
And it's outdoors, and
Oh, the one down in SD.
Yeah,
Balboa Park. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. That's
very,
cool.
very excited. It's beautiful. And last one we saw there was Romeo and Juliet, and it was totally, it was a very different rendition, and it was very, very good.
Yeah.
The more modern, the better for my wife.
Yeah, I can see that. But there's definitely something with Shakespeare. It can be, of course, dry to read, but when you see it performed well, it all clicks, and you're like, oh, I get why these are so important, and why they keep being done, even 400 years later, 500 years later at this point, close. Yep. You're like, oh, I see why, because these are really emotional or really funny. Either way, there's a lot going on. Yeah. So I'm excited. I'm really excited to take my kids.
Cool. I'm
get to see
forward
the
to
Tempest.
Oh, that's awesome. We saw the Tempest. It was at my wife's college. It was real bad.
Hey, they can't all be winners.
Yes, those kids really tried their third best, perhaps. Anyway, video game podcast this week. Man, I'm glad I upgraded my PS Plus to Extra. Although I guess I could have just bought Stray, but Stray is good.
I've heard.
Yeah, man. If you know ahead of time, it's an adventure game basically. You're finding different things around the different, I don't know, hub cities and whatever else to accomplish tasks. And otherwise you're just roaming around town as a kitty. You got a dedicated meow button, and then you just hold the X button or hit the X button, and it'll jump to predetermined places. You can look around your area, and you'll see the X prompt pop up, and then you just jump there. There's no real platforming. Which makes movement a little awkward sometimes, because sometimes that X prompt doesn't pop up when you're able to get to that spot. So the movement isn't as free flowing as it could be in the jumping aspect, but the running aspect is fine. There are these little head crab things called Zerks, I think. They look like head crabs from Half-Life, and they kind of chase you and suck your life and kill you eventually. You get a trophy for dying nine times, which is
okay.
Nice.
That's cute. That's cute.
Well done. Get a trophy for jumping 500 times. Get a trophy for meowing 100 times. But the story, some of the reviewers, I felt were split. I think the Metacritic was overall 84, but some reviewers are like, oh, the story it sucks. It's not very good. It's fun to be a cat, but there's nothing compelling about the story. And other people are like, this is a great story. I fall on the side of the people who think it was a good story. I'm about probably half an hour from the end. Our friend Travis told me I'm probably about 30 to 40 minutes from the end, because he finished it today as well. And it's basically, I think if you've seen the previews, it's Cat kind of falls into a robot world and is trying to get back out. But then you learn about the robot world, and I don't want to spoil anything about it, but I think it's pretty compelling. Kind of figuring out what the fuck's going on. And I don't want to say anything about the story.
Okay.
As you're progressing toward the end, you're getting closer and closer to unraveling the mystery, which is not a, I don't know, capital M mystery. It's not the driving force behind the whole story. It's really just, I don't know, it's kind of cool just to solve the mini puzzles that are in the game and figure out what that item you just picked up is really useful for. That stuff's cool. But the larger mystery is still pretty engaging. I think I've put let's see, 5 hours so far. I put 5 hours in, so I'll probably finish it around 6 hours. There's a speedrunning trophy for doing it in 2 hours, and I'm not. Maybe I could do it. I'm not sure. There's been a couple of I don't know. I'm just enjoying looking around the world. It's really well realized. It's like the cities, the hub cities are really vertical. So you do a lot of you know, hanging out at street level and then going up a story and another and going through apartments and knocking things down as a cat and knocking down paint cans and just basically causing fucking mayhem. I got a trophy for jumping on someone's mahjong board and fucking it all up, which is pretty cool. Yeah, it's just, it doesn't seem like it's going to overstay its welcome. It is not, I think in terms of gameplay, it's not like deeply engaging.
Sure.
If you think about old timey point and click adventure games, like it's certainly more engaging than that, but the overall feel of what kind of game it is that. And it is just, yeah, it's, I'm trying to think exactly how to say it. Like if this was like a 30-hour game or a 20-hour game, it wouldn't be as awesome. But because it's a 6-hour experience or so, like it's pitch perfect. It stays its welcome perfectly.
Yeah.
Have you heard about it or had any friends?
Yeah, I had a coworker's been playing it, and one of them, she has basically said that like it's gonna take her like maximum time to beat the game because no bottle will be left standing. If she sees anything, she's like, if I see anything I can knock over, I knock it over. I'm a cat.
It's
or scratch on things, and she's like, no, I will wreak the most destruction possible through this game.
Well, I've been scratching everywhere. In some places you scratch, there's a specific thing that happens, which is to help you solve puzzles or whatever. But other times it's just like you're scratching for the fuck of it because you're a cat. But there is a trophy for scratching once in every single chapter. So
nice.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to getting that because I've been scratching everything I find.
Yeah,
it's haptics. Fuck the bowstring haptics. Like the haptics for scratching is awesome.
Is it?
Yeah, really. It does. It has a very tactile feel to it. And then the controller purrs when you're sleeping. There's a trophy for sleeping for an hour in the game. Just like fucking set up camp somewhere and just nod off. It's very interesting. The trophy list is quite attainable for a platinum, but also quite clever.
They really went in on the cat thing. They're like, no, if we're making a cat game, we're going to make a cat game.
They really they knew what the market was, man. People were excited for this because it's a fucking cat, and they've really nailed it.
They're like, no, it's really, you're a cat. Let's do this.
Yep. This is a awesome cat game. It is well. I don't think you upgraded.
I didn't.
I'm not sure. At what price point like I'd buy the game. I think $20-$30 is good.
I think it's 30, right?
Is it? Okay, I don't remember. Oh no, you're right. It was 30 because it was $10 more for me to upgrade to extra. So yeah, it's 30. I think it's worth it for sure. Especially, I'm a cat person. I like cats. So if you're a cat person, it's definitely worth it. If you hate cats, like part of the charm is the cat thing. So if the cat thing isn't getting you through the day, the other stuff's not going to. It's
the best selling game on Steam right now.
It's
been that way since it came out. Yeah.
And it's the most played. How do they say this? Annapurna's most played game at launch or something like that. Like it's the game that's been played by the most people or the most hours at launch for any Annapurna game ever.
I feel like I failed my wife in not showing this game to her. She doesn't even know this exists. And I'm like,
what?
I know. And I'm like, I think I failed. I'd failed big time on this.
I think so too. Yeah. My daughter, she thinks she's a cat person. We don't have a cat, but she thinks she's a cat person. She wants to play it just because there's a cat. So I'm going to restart a new save file just so she can do the beginning part, which is just like cat through a city. Just jump around. Yeah, you got to show your wife this.
I know. I'm like, crap. When we get back from vacation, maybe have some time. It'll be
yeah.
Like I said, I don't think it's going to be a long game in the end. So probably fits in with her schedule and she could enjoy it. Man, I want to play it too now though, but I can't. I don't have time. Like I work and I'm going on vacation, and I'll do Xenoblade while on vacation.
Yeah, as I say, you're planning and prepping and packing for your trip, but man, you should be getting ready for Xenoblade 3. That's gonna be a long haul. That's a big game.
It's gonna be a very big game, and a very big game where I'm not gonna have internet or anything to check if I'm doing the right thing.
Right.
That's gonna be an interesting interesting playthrough. Hopefully it teaches me the mechanics well enough. Uh,
Hopefully, you're like, I'm
Yeah.
missing something, but I can't check it out.
and there's a lot of mechanics based on the previews. So
Yeah.
no, that'll be fun. For me, weirdly, this week I was playing some No Man's Sky. It's on Game Pass,
with a
and
new
they
update?
I had a new update, and I was like, oh, I have Game Pass right now, and it's on Game Pass, so why not try it out? Yeah, they just keep updating the game with more and
nowhere.
more.
It's like, new update.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Didn't we just have one?
Yeah, they tried. They put out a thing for 2022 saying that they were going to try faster, smaller updates. I put smaller in quotes because their updates haven't been small in what I'd consider maybe smaller than what the updates they did in 2021. But yeah, they've been doing updates every 2 to 3 months overall, and it can be some pretty significant stuff. This one was all about freighters, and they really, really like fleshed out that system to make it feel, I don't say like just a lot more of the gameplay. Like you don't want to base on a planet anymore. You can just make your freighter your like mobile base now.
That's what I heard, and that makes me excited because it's a little, I don't know. The home base is fine, but then you have to make like so many different home bases. Like if you can just make your freighter your base, that's awesome.
Yeah, and it looks like you can, and that's the thing. Like it's a big part of their update. You can have AI squadron pilots to protect it.
Oh.
Like you start recruiting different aliens you find along the way, and you can set them to use different ships that you've collected to like protect your fleet as you build it up. Like there's a whole mechanic now of just building a fleet of ships. The game is ridiculous and how much they've added to it. It's like it looks nothing like the game at launch at all. There's a certain level of dedication where they just kept on pushing and adding, and I still find it a fairly shallow game. I'm playing a new save and just kind of going through it, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, the crafting mechanics of it and the planets themselves, while visually different, aren't really mechanically different. Like they look different, but you're like, yeah, it's all the same stuff. Like they'll have a couple resources on them. Okay, if the resource you're looking for isn't on this planet, it's on another planet in this system. But how they look visually doesn't really affect gameplay. It's just like, oh, that's a cool view. Next. What bar is going down?
Because you're doing the same
I'm on
things
the
over
planet.
and over again.
Yeah, it's just the same stuff.
Yeah.
So it's a very wide game, but very shallow in that regard. This freighter thing, at least that's the thing. The last few updates have added at least some level of depth to other systems in the game. It's not like that crafting loop, creation loop, but at least adding some depth to like the freighters. To I think the last one was, I think that was like community management. Like you can build a settlement on a planet.
Yes, that's right.
And so like there's just certain aspects they're changing. They work at improving systems. Like space combat is quite a bit better now. That's one I was waiting for. It's not like it's like amazing, but there's a lot of feedback to it. It feels like much more exciting to do it than it did before. So
where you're basically just trying to like whip around and find that little point on the fucking horizon to shoot at. Yeah.
Kudos to them for making that a little bit more exciting. That's basically what the game is now. Like they've just improved each aspect slowly but surely, just kind of whittling it away. But the core is the core, and it's a shallow experience overall. But if you're a person that just wants like loads of content and lots to you're like, I just want to focus on making a fleet. Well, that will probably get you like 40 to 50 hours of gameplay.
Damn.
I want to make make a settlement. Like those are all just different avenues of things you can do. Nothing's required. If you have ADHD, this game is probably hell for you because there's just a constant list of things you could be doing.
Yep.
That don't matter but do matter. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I have a friend who talked about that, and a different game that had like a huge checklist of all these different things to do. And I was like, this must be madness for that. And my friend said, actually, no, it's great because when I want to wander, my mind wanders off or I lose focus and I go off on the other thing, it's still a valuable thing to do.
It's true.
Like it's not a useless or distraction. It's actually integral to the gameplay loop, so that kind of fits really well. And I don't know
Yeah.
if No Man's Sky is like that, but this person also really likes No Man's Sky, so maybe.
Probably then. I wouldn't surprise me in that way.
Yeah.
I was always worried because it's just like there's so much you could do and it's throwing it at you. Like it could just be constantly distracting, but maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe it is that thing of being like, you're going to lose focus on something anyway. At least there's something else to find focus with, and there's some depth to it, so you can put some time in there. But if you lose focus and go do something else, it's not like you've wasted time. Like you've done you have accomplishments throughout the entire process.
Exactly, and that's how it was explained to me. I was like, oh, that makes a ton of sense. You're like pushing the broad boulder up the hill, even though you're tapping on a different part of it.
Yeah. I guess Elden Ring falls into that as well.
Yes, exactly. That's the one I was referring to, in fact.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Like that totally works.
Yep. As opposed to like a game like Assassin's Creed Valhalla, where like even I'm just like, what the fuck I don't even know what I'm doing or if it has any impact on anything.
Yeah.
Which sucks because Odyssey was so good. But even Odyssey is still that way as well. Like you get story, but that's, I don't know.
Yeah. So
Ubisoft.
That's really all. Yeah. That's really all I've played. Or did I do other things? I think that was on Tuesday or Wednesday. That update dropped. I'm trying to think.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It was midweek, I think.
I was just looking for like filler things a little bit.
Yeah, I'm in a small booth. Me too, because I was, waiting for Stray. And I think last week I mentioned on the podcast, I found my Wii U. So my daughter was excited because it's not the Wii U. It is the Windwaker machine. And she was very excited that we could restart Windwaker, which we did immediately. And we've probably put together 4 or 5 hours, 5 or 6 hours into it. We're still on Dragon Roost Island.
Oh boy.
She is very excited to get into Dragon Roost Island, get past the part where you're basically getting into the volcano, dropping some of the water out of the bottle she has, and running all the way back to the ocean and filling it up again, and climbing back up, going into the volcano, dropping the water again. I think she thinks she's putting the fire out.
Okay.
And she's just having the time of her life, and she's all whenever she sees Beetle fly by or float by, she jumps into the ocean and swims over just to hang out with Beetle a little bit. And then she's controlling it for the most part. She went to Beetle, she bought some pears, she went outside, she put the pears onto the button that she needed, X, Y, or R, and then she put the pear on her head, and then the seagull came down, ate the pear, and then she floated around for about 10 minutes on a seagull until a bird came and attacked her, all by herself. I never taught her how to load an item onto a button. She just did it because it's a touchscreen. So she's like, touched it, dragged it. Cool. And then she puts it on X or Y because she doesn't use R.
Okay.
And my wife comes in. She's like watching her control link and watching her manipulate the controller. And it's just like, normal kid, because she is, obviously. But she's young. And we were like, is she able to do? She did. Yep. Just fine. She's manipulating it perfectly.
Yep.
Doesn't quite always follow the story. Like, don't you want to go see Medley? Don't you want to go help Medley? Yeah, I like Medley, but I'm filling his water bottle up.
Yeah, I'm doing this now.
Okay.
This is the game right now.
This is what the game is, exactly. And she's bummed because the King of Red Lions is not interested in her climbing onto the boat and sailing away. Like, you have to help Valu here. You have to get up there and help the dragon at the top of the volcano. No, I want to sail away. Nope, you're stuck. Sorry. No. You actually gotta progress the story to go sailing again.
Nice.
So I'm playing that, and I put a little bit of time into Live Alive, which I picked up based on the strength of the reviews and some of the people who did this game then went on to work on Chrono Trigger, and then the 2D HD looks really good.
Yeah.
I didn't realize, which is pretty cool, it's also like an inspiration for Octopath Traveler because it's just 7 different vignettes that are, I think eventually connect in some way. But there's, you start out and it's just like, okay, here are the 7 vignettes. Which one you want to start with? Shit, there's no order to this. I can do whatever I want. So that's cool.
That is cool.
Probably an hour. I did the Chinese dynasty one where this kung fu master is looking for 3 disciples to pass on his knowledge, and that's about it. The combat system, like my character started at like level 10. Like it was really kind of cool. You don't start at the beginning. You like start as like a seasoned fighter, at least in this story. And you have like a ton of different cool moves, and everything's already ready to go. You don't have to like build up and level up. At least in this story. So that's been cool. And that's all I've been playing this week is those things.
Yeah, I'm curious. I want to hear more about that as you get deeper into it, because it's on my list of games that I need to play probably by the end of the year. I like JRPGs, and this one I've never was able to play the original because, well, never came into
Japan only.
Yeah, and I heard it was one of the things you heard about, like it was on lists of best JRPGs, and I'm like, well, I'm never playing it,
right?
And so now I really I want to, and the HD 2D stuff, I just love the look of that.
Overall, it looks really good. Yep.
Yeah. The small things I played, I mentioned it last week. I played Vampire Survivors. They put another update out.
Since last week?
4 new achievements. I got the 4 new achievements. They added a new mode, which is they called Boss Rash. Not Rush, Rash. But it was a boss rush kind of mode, which was really challenging. They have the 4 new achievements. Took me a little bit of time to get that. They added another character, which you had to do a very specific challenge in the boss rush, which was you need to survive for 15 minutes, and you can only have a single weapon, active weapon.
Oh, damn.
And there's other power-ups that they've added over time. So, yeah, if you plan it out right, you can make this happen. And I did, and it was really cool to make it happen and just be like, wow, I've maxed the lightning ring to insane levels of speed and damage. It was cool to see. But man, yeah, it's at version 0.9.0 right now. And so it's close. I think 1.0 is in the next couple months. It feels like it's almost done. Like there's only a few things left to kind of add there. It's got way more depth than I would expect this game to have in the end, which is cool though. But I'm at 127 of 127 achievements again. So continued that. That took a few more hours to do.
And is that only on Xbox Game Pass and
Steam right now? Yeah.
It's still not Switch. Yeah, okay. Not until 1.0 or whatever.
Yeah, it's either there, like the dev is going to bring it to Switch, or I could see someone's going to approach them to give them a bunch of money and say, hey, can we port this to Switch? Because this would be perfect on Switch.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah.
It just feels like a Switch game.
Yeah, because I broke 70 hours. I'm at 71 hours in that game now. For such a simple game.
Yeah.
And then I was just going through backlogs of stuff that I haven't played ever. And I played this game called Shadowhand I had picked up, which was a card battler, but it's actually a solitaire battler. It's weird. But basically you're just playing solitaire.
Like regular solitaire?
Kind of like specialized,
like modified,
modified based on board and stuff, but it's a very solitaire-based thing, and you're trying to do streaks. To either like beat levels, or they have like a dueling mechanic by getting streaks and using weapons you have, because you can where the solitaire, it's not the deepest thing. You have a lot of equipment and abilities that you can equip and swap out. So there's a lot of depth coming from that. It's fine. It can get frustrating like solitaire does sometimes.
Right, yeah.
But it was a nice distraction. I think I put in like 5 hours into it. I think I picked it up for a few bucks probably a couple years ago at a Steam sale. It was worth putting some time into and just at least trying it out. So yeah, between that, Vampire Survivors, that, and then No Man's Sky, that's been my week.
It's a pretty good week.
Yeah.
You're getting ready, holding pattern until Chronicles 3.
Yep. And which I won't even start probably playing on Friday. I will probably get it all prepped and everything, but I really am holding off. I'm like, I do not want to start playing until I'm basically at our campsite on Sunday.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I have plenty of other things to do.
Yes,
to get ready.
Getting ready.
Yeah.
But it comes out Friday, right? Or
it does. It comes out Friday. Or maybe Thursday night. I don't know.
Right, because you're getting it digitally, I think.
I will get it digitally, yes.
Yeah. Right. People are excited. And we're getting, what is it? I don't know if there's a big release for Nintendo in August. I think it's Xenoblade 3 and then Splatoon in September.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the thing, though, is like, Xenoblade is coming out on the 29th.
Right.
So
it's almost October. Almost August, I mean.
It kind of is their bigger August game.
It is interesting. I know that they don't control Square Enix, but like an RPG this week, a JRPG this week, and a JRPG next week.
I know. It seems a little weird that they would come out so close. And really, it's weird that Square would line that up that way. I don't think Square needs to. They could put it out whenever they want to, when it comes down to it. But yeah, maybe it's better for them to get it out before Xenoblade, though. Like, at least a week before, because even if people are waiting for Xenoblade, there's a lot of buzz around Live Alive, and
it's a 15-20 hour game, right? Or no, maybe the first part is 15-20 hours. I don't know. It seems manageable, like especially for gamers who get through it this week and move on to Xenoblade next week. I'm finishing Straight tonight, and then I'm moving on to Live Alive, so I'm excited.
Live Alive says main plus extras is only 24 and a half hours.
Oh, okay.
So it doesn't seem like it's that crazy long. Completionist is 27 hours.
Oh, that's that's manageable. That's good.
Yeah.
That makes me feel happy. Because something like Chrono Trigger, like it's long, but manageable. So that's good. I don't think I've played, I've dabbled in JRPGs in the past year, but I've always fallen off of them. I'm hoping I stick with this one. And I think the fact that it's 7 vignettes that all, X amount of hours per vignette, and then you move on to some other thing that has a different conceit or whatever, maybe will help with that.
Yeah.
Plus it just looks gorgeous. So we'll see. I'll report back next week by myself, I guess. Yeah. So cool. Awesome. Anything else for the podcast today?
No, I think I'm good.
Awesome. Yeah, short podcast because, boy, not much news. We're not talking about the 65th remaster of Last of Us, so we'll leave that.
Remake.
But enjoyed that.
Remake,
remaster, whatever. Well, this is episode 347 of Prof and Dev Play Games. If you like us, rate us on your podcast service of choice. And wish you well on your trip, Anthony. And
Thank you.
We'll see you in a couple weeks.
Yep.
But I will be back next week with some sort of content. So stay tuned, and we'll see you then.
All right. Later, everyone.